So before I get to the story of the Volt, one of the biggest challenges we have right now with the Chevrolet Volt is getting people to understand what it really is. There's so many hybrid vehicles out there or all-electric vehicles. People really have a hard time, and again, in a very crowded and competitive automotive industry, it's very hard to kind of break through and help people understand that the unique proposition, and the Volt is the only vehicle that does it. You run and have the opportunity to have 35 plus miles of all-electric range, and for 80% of the U.S. population, that suits your daily driving needs. So when you see people, and I think if you caught the little blurb on one of those, the first individual fills up about every 900 miles. Because if you drive, to work, say 10, 15 miles, and you drive home, you plug in, you haven't used any gas, and you can do that day after day and you won't use any gas. If you can plug in at work, you even have more opportunity. But what's unique about the Volt compared to just a pure electric vehicle is it also has a gas-powered generator, so you have an additional up to 375 miles that you can go using the gas-powered generator to run the vehicle in electrical mode. So you have the ability day to day to be able to use the vehicle in pure electric mode. We also know life takes on twisting turns. I'm sure we wake up every morning and our day never goes exactly as we predicted. So if something happens that you're going to need to drive more, you've got that as a backup. So there's no anxiety about range. Just getting that message out and helping people understand has been one of our biggest challenges, and hence why we launched those two commercials recently to really help people understand the basic business proposition for the vehicle. But there's so much more to the Volt story. If you think about it, we announced the Volt in 2007. We announced the vehicle and said we were going to build it when the battery technology didn't exist. We didn't have the vehicle. There was so much invention on the critical path of that vehicle. And it's in a completely growing company would have been difficult. We then put on it the fact that General Motors, from 2007 to now, has gone through an incredibly difficult period with the bankruptcy and the restructuring. And you can imagine the tough decisions we were making as we went through. I know this is an entrepreneurial class, but from a business sense, I mean, when you have to make a decision when you're going through a major restructuring like General Motors was, everything's on the table. And so the fact, why did the Volt persist? And frankly, the Volt was one of those beacons for the General Motors population as we were going through that difficult time. We never considered canceling the program. In fact, I think it fueled everybody to know that we had this technological breakthrough coming. And the engineers, there was actually a little bit of jealousy in the engineering community for those engineers who got to work on the Volt, because there was such passion and dedication, they kind of could get a little break from all of the work that was going on related to the restructuring. So the fact that the Volt made it through that point, I think, was really the passion of that vehicle chief engineer and a couple of the key supporters of that vehicle that knew how important it was, not only from a technology perspective, but also from a reputational perspective for General Motors.